We're coming up on 1 year of searching for land in the Bay Area, gated community, and we finally found another piece that we really love. It was so exciting to meet with the seller's agent.
I jump in the car to drive out to the rural areas, and I jump in, no gas.
Until it wasn't.
I wasn't joking when she said it's not good for a relationship.
Even when we start to think we know everything, it always turns out that we don't. There's an issue with water. It doesn't have any.
If there ain't no water, there ain't no buildings. I read the 392-page document. I read every single page of it.
I always default to going with Kirk because he's always ready. But at least we're enjoying the journey. Are you the best?
I do all the best things.
But I'm driving. I have to drive good because me driving isn't great for our relationship, so I have to make sure I'm focused so you don't get mad.
We're headed to Contra Costa County today to check out a couple properties that we got to the gate and didn't trespass on.
Kirk is the worst. He doesn't, it's like we go down private roads and he forgets how to read. Like he never learned how to read. And it's like private. Do not trespass. We have guns on automatic ready to shoot. And he's like, let's keep going.
On that note, we're visiting officially today.
We're going with a realtor so they could actually let us in and show us around two properties. And so this is a treat. Stop filming the view. It's like the prettiest thing we've seen. So we just met the realtor at the bottom of the mountain, and when we got the car going again, it says we have 0 gas. Like 0. So we're up in the hills trying to park and slightly concerned.
Yeah, very much so.
Very much so. Luckily,
it's not that far up the road.
Yeah.
Scary. An orchard. I wanted an orchard. Definitely overgrown, but a nice, pretty flat area. A lot of landscaping though. This could be our tiny home. You into it?
We can underlay that on the door.
We'll take the trash. It's just gorgeous. And she said the other one's prettier. Gated community. Security check. I'm obsessed with this RV. I can't get enough of it. This could be us, right in the middle of a gorgeous mountain view. We feel welcome here. After making it to the property and having a really great visit, Kirk finally had an opportunity to process what happened on the way up here. You let me drive?
I jump in the car to drive out into the rural areas. not tow truck area. I'm talking where you stop and block the entire road. And I jump in, no gas. Plus maintenance required.
Wow!
Unbelievable.
I don't know that that's totally my fault.
I'm not sure she's ready for the lifestyle.
I felt like we had gas. I don't know. There's only one way out though, right?
I thought so.
there hasn't been any turns. I haven't noticed any outlets. So in conclusion, I might be banned from driving.
She wasn't joking when she said it's not good for the relationship.
This is not the first time that me driving has caused an issue. I'll just leave it at that. Kirk always does things like check the gas and get the car maintained. We made it to the gas station. Kirk, how happy are you?
Unnecessary stress.
He doesn't get stressed often, but I'm the talent here to push his buttons. I was never worried. We just came back from seeing the land with the realtor, and it was hands down the prettiest we've seen so far.
Yeah.
The views were on every side of the pad.
Barely remote, but not too remote.
About, 10 minutes from a shopping center, a gas station. The roads are upkept enough. There's an issue with water. It doesn't have any.
They drilled 2 wells, couldn't get them to produce water to code, basically.
That's going to be the biggest challenge, is you have to have water, and they were talking about some solutions of trucking in water, but that's a whole other scenario because you have to have agricultural, it's just a whole thing. So that's a pretty big obstacle, but it already has an orchard and I want an orchard. It needs to be upkept a little bit, but it has an orchard, and it looks like the previous owner built a small 10 by 12, what I think was going to be her living quarters.
It was drywall.
Yeah, pipes and electrical outlets, it's a whole thing. So we imagined she was gonna live in there, so it kind of takes away or adds to the idea of us living in a tiny unit while we build a house. So I love it.
Yeah.
Do you love it?
The most promising is just a huge risk with the water.
Yeah.
If there ain't no water, there ain't no buildings.
In everything we've looked at, there's some sort of compromise or risk. We'll just try to make a decision on which one we want to take. In a perfect world, there'd be none. It'd be perfect land, ready to build, and ground ready. Break ground ready.
Not in this area.
Not in this area. Not in our budget. We did plan on seeing 2 lots today that are kind of in the same canyon. But we decided not to go to the other canyon, one, because we had no gas, and it was getting scary. Apparently, it's not flat, so we wouldn't be able to build ourselves because she was talking about having to build basically into the side of the mountain. There is water on that one. Why else didn't we look at it?
Say that again?
Why didn't we look at that second property?
I wasn't listening to what you said.
Well,
What reasons did you list? We didn't have gas.
We didn't have gas. That was the main one.
Cliffside building, and the road out there.
The road
was much further through several properties and easements, and if you're gonna build out there, you're gonna have to have the turnarounds and all that stuff. No gas to get on.
The main problem was we had no gas.
I didn't know what it looked like.
So yeah, we didn't see the second plot of land, but I think it's fine. I'm satisfied. I'll never be satisfied. He doesn't know Hamilton like I do. With most of the properties that we go and see, Kirk likes to read through the disclosure agreements to see what we're up against. We get all kinds of information, like boundary lines, easements, power, sewer, water, or any permitting issues that exist. After seeing this land and knowing some of the risks, we are still very interested in purchasing this piece. So we're hoping that our agent, Brian, will come and take a look at it with us, even though it's outside of the area he normally sells in.
So this is my timelines. I reviewed this packet and organized it, and I put the timelines in the document. Basically, just briefed what the document talked about or what was significant about the document.
That's all those late nights. What we don't have on film is Kirk working from 9 to 2 a.m. reading packets like this, trying to figure out land laws. So this is where it all comes into play. Lawyer Kirk, contract reader, engineer extraordinaire. Well, let's call Brian and see if he's available to chat right now. So I just got up and Kirk is still sleeping. I'm getting ready for the day to go and see the land again with our realtor. And I was all excited because last night Kirk was like, Alexa, set an alarm for 8:30 a.m. And I was like, oh, you're gonna wake up? He's like, no, that's for you. He goes, no, that's for you. We need coffee, we need breakfast. Oh, well, how thoughtful for you to set an alarm for me to get up and make us breakfast, which is fine. It's just funny. We're gonna head out in a little bit and I have to wake up. We are on our way to see the land again. We have the seller's realtor. That's what she's called. The seller's realtor.
Seller's agent.
The seller's agent. We have the seller's agent coming, and we have our realtor who's representing us coming. So we're gonna head up there, see if we can get a little more information on the water, see if we can get more information on where the property extends to, and hopefully walk the perimeter of the land when we're there. Hopefully it goes well and we come out a little bit closer to knowing what we want, or if this is what we want. But we do have gas this time.
Yes, we do have gas.
Kirk went out of his way to check the car this morning when we were having breakfast to make sure we didn't get caught with 0 miles again. I think I might be officially banned from driving.
Yeah.
I make him laugh often. It's what I do. This time on our visit, Kirk wanted to get the lay of the land, so he brought his laser level again to see if he can get some measurements. Kirk just went off to do his thing. Well, I'm all over here with the realtors.
I inspected the well and I figured out why they put it there. Because all the drainage comes through this sort of localized canyon. It's kind of like probably a seasonal creek, and then there's mudslides where the two creeks meet down there. Some nasty slides and things like that down there. So.
And then you did grading too. Kirk went down and did some grading while I walked around with the realtors.
Northwest to northeast, but it would be really interesting to see how you could grade it, because you can see down at the creek that this is a slide area and lots of erosion and stuff like that. So the setback off of that is not nearly as big as it looks, because you'd have to pull away from a lot of the water, run a lot of drainage and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
It looked like a flat pad. There's a flat pad they excavated to the. I was like, oh, it's flattening out here, and it's because the well's right there.
We need water. Kirk hasn't talked to the realtor once today. He's literally been like Huckleberry Finning around with his tools. It's so good, but I think it's so funny. I think he's looking at the well right now. This is the pump or the well or the something important. In case it's not clear already, I have no idea what any of these people are talking about today. I'm just like, oh my gosh, it's so pretty. Yeah, we need water. And then I just walk away. I have no important questions. We got back from seeing the land, the dream land that we were both so excited about. We went with both our buyer's realtor?
Buying agent.
And a selling agent. And the realtors talked and divulged a little more information to our agent. And it turns out that there's some neighbor issues, not just water. So I guess long story short is water was our number one problem leaving the first time, and that was kind of going to be the major thing we had to figure out. It wasn't a deal breaker yet, and then the agents were talking today. It turns out that the last people who tried to buy it were approached by like a gang of 12 neighbors at the gate because they didn't like what they planned on doing with the place, which was a business. They were going to run a business off of it with animals, but really, really bad sign.
Yeah, and then there was some legal paperwork that was drafted.
There's some fishy things, and it seems the impression that we get from the neighbors is that they're very protective about who comes in that area, and they are very willing to take legal action against any people who violate. And from knowing what we know, having bad neighbors is now moved into the number one spot of issues with the land, because your neighbors can get you kicked off the land. If you violate anything, they can sue you. You could be stuck in litigation. They can cost you lots of money.
Particularly with this lot, it has some tricky easements. It's got a road easement. It serves northern properties, east and west easements. So anytime there's sort of easement on the land and you don't have good
shared ownership of things.
Legally shared ownership without good relationships, it would be problematic for sure. So the combination of the easements and then the two wells that are sort of not certifiable.
Did we even talk about the wells before? If
I don't
we
know.
haven't, in a nutshell, they drilled 5 wells.
No, they drilled.
There's 5 wells.
No, they had several well permits. They drilled.
She told Brian there was 5.
There's 2 drilled wells on the property.
I was with him. She literally said, he said there's 2 wells. She goes, there's 5. And he said, oh, I thought there was 2. And she goes, she drilled 2.
No, there was a well drilled in 2002, and there was a well drilled in 2013. That's the only documentation. There were 5 well permits, but the dates were all around the same dates. They might have been doing test drills, but the only truly drilled wells were 2 wells. They were done in 2002 and 2013.
Well, believe who you want to believe.
I read the 392-page document. I read every single page of it. And you can look on Patreon to see what the Excel spreadsheet looks like for how I distilled everything.
Well, the agent might not have known that. I don't know. She said 5 when he specifically said, oh, there's 2. And she said, no, there's not. So I always default to going with Kirk because he's always right. He's so mad. I believe you. I believe him. I believe him. The agent is a liar.
One lesson you need to know is land real estate is nothing like housing real estate. So caution to the wind if you're listening to a housing real estate person tell you about land real estate.
Yeah, the selling agent does primarily houses, and most of the questions we asked were met with a, I have no idea, I don't know, I have no idea, I don't know, I have no idea, just constantly
Or
to
there's
almost...
5 wells when there's 2.
Or there's 5 wells when there's 2, so that's where we're at today. She's causing conflict in our relationship with the wells.
If we go through the pros and cons, we would say that the location is great,
Fantastic.
views are great,
Fantastic.
has a view, could potentially have 2 pads for the house and for the shop studio. There's lots of pluses. The downside of it is it'd be a lot of money to explore for water, and wells might go 500, 600, 700 feet deep, and you pay
Per foot.
basically. I was looking at some of the grading today and measuring it with the laser level to see what it looked like, but as I walked down I saw that it was a kind of like an erosion or landslide area. I would imagine any kind of geo report for permitted building there is going to look at the erosion there and be complicated in terms of any type of grading. 12 neighbors ganging up on the one
On
property
somebody,
is a big issue. Being met by legal paperwork is a really big issue. The dry well and then the uncertifiable well.
Short story is 12-person neighbor gang, wells that can't be permitted for building, and we can't get it. There's a lot more factors, as we've learned, than just what's in the listing. We're both kind of sad that this one isn't going to work out because I think we've officially decided that it's a deal breaker.
Yeah, it's
So, oh, this is a permit application. So I don't think it was finalized. So this was in 2010. These are the permit applications from 2003, June. And then here's a well permit from 2013. These were never approved, so I don't know, or they were never signed. The other ones were actually signed. So this one actually has to have a signature. Yeah, so this one was in 2012 or 2010. Permit for such and such, steel casing and conductor. And this is the other one here. This one's the geothermal one that she put in. Well construction in 2002. So this to me looks like the stuff that they were estimating in 2002.
So you win?
Did you win her?
It doesn't matter.
Are you the best?
I do all the best things.
I win research.
We know how to read.
We read goodest better than anybody.
Me take notes while I read.
Me take good reader notes. Good job, Scooter.
Thanks for joining us. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
And join us on Patreon.
And if you're interested in checking out land in the Bay Area, click the link in our description and check out Beck Family Real Estate.